To me, it comes down to the mid matchup and what's going to happen around the runes.
Alrighty, let's get into it then. Game number 1 between Execration and BB Team. Will BB be the team to top out their group, or will Execration find the acceleration and get themselves a win here? Let's find out with Mike.
Thank you so much, Nomad. Game number 1, Jonathan. BB Team against Execration. We have some very interesting drafting here from the boys. What are you thinking, sir? What's happened here?
Look, I like seeing the Venomancer coming out from Execration. This is something they love. It's just that we normally see it on Lewis, right? Like that tends to be his mid-hero before. He was the guy that kind of went into like this Ags rush, looking to run down with an Orchid build-up, playing with that Septic Shock. And on offlane for Tino, it's going to be interesting to see because those weaknesses are highlighted, right? Like you can get dived early on, you're a very squishy hero. You do not like to have heroes right on top of you as this Venomancer in the offlane. That can be pretty much the biggest standing weakness for Execration is that lane. I do feel like everything else was set up quite nicely from Exedo. Like Abaddon, but Lich lane is pretty sickening. There is a lot of chase down potential there for Palos and CML, especially once you have some levels in the Frost Shield up. So you have a lot can get going with. The Evil Eye facet is pretty cool as well. So I think that can maybe catch you off guard with that bonus damage coming in. And that, I think that's the foundation for Execration. This lane for Palos should go well. They should try to get their most. The issue is you're playing into a very high sustain lane. Miero on the Omni Knight is not going to be dying as much as you'd expect a Venomancer to die here for Tino. So you might not be able to get full value from that early aggression with all of these slows, with all of this damage coming out from your safe. And I think for BB Team, that is something they can work around. Like mentioned, you know, this is going to be about the Ember. And I do like the way that GPK is kind of set up. He goes for the Chain Gang. We've seen this facet kind of rise in popularity in a lot of our qualifiers happening here into the road to the Esports World Cup. Chain Gang does a lot of work. It provides you with that teamfight control that you are otherwise lacking on the side of BB Team. And once you have that, once you have your 6 up, once you can get aggressive with your remnants forward, using those chains very smartly, you get that control, you get the easy lineup for the TA to get side blades. You've got the Shadow Shaman with the blink timing that can be devastating as well. And things can start to get spicy. At the least, Lewis's mid lane shouldn't be too bad into the Ember Spirit matchup. Storm does tend to have a pretty good time. You've got Static Slide, you can just poke back, you've got the range advantage. You do not have to worry about a double impact Slide of Fist kind of bullying you out here. You will have to eat more into the Flame Guard. I'm expecting a 1-1 tree build here from GPK. It's not a 0-2 tree build that we tend to see on the Embers with the Chain Gang up. But you know, for Lewis, it's still going to be a good time. And again, for Execration, it's going to be key to have this Ember, to have this Storm get a running start. Because if you can get that 6 fast, if you can kind of connect with the Bounty Hunter with control on the Shrines of Wisdom, get a fast 6 again on Shanks, that snowball effect can really kick in fast for Execration.
No, absolutely. And don't forget as well, Joe, if Execration somehow found a tour, they're going to make some very awkward tiebreakers later on today. I mean, the odds, obviously not very high, right? I dare say both of us are looking at BB Team and thinking, you know, these guys are the stronger team, but if Execration can make something happen, we're all going to be here for a long time today, John. We'll be here all night.
That we would be. We'll see if Execration can get that done. Of course, BB Team, this is a team that, you know, sometimes find themselves maybe thinking, getting ahead of themselves, right? Getting overconfident. That has happened before with this lineup. Not as often nowadays, I would say. I would not expect as many slip-ups here. We'll have to see. This top lane, again, is the lane that for BB Team can get really aggressive down bot. You're seeing some of that coming in. Already out of mana on CML, but does have the Mangoes. Again, all these slows can stack up. You are relatively tanky as well on Palos, but that single control is enough.
That certainly is. Palos in big trouble. Chase on from Miero. First blood drawn. Great start here for BB Team. You've got to be really wary of giving the first blood bonus hit of Miero. I mean, he knows this Omni Knight very well.
And he does. It's a rough one for Palos to just die like that. You need some levels in your Lich to really feel effective here. Right? Like level 3, maybe level 4 is when you start to feel better. I'm curious to see if CML will actually want to get a value point in the gaze to try to maximize Evil Eye early on. It can have some ways of protecting as well, especially in a way of breaking shackles here to provide Palos a way out if that control comes in once more. But the direct matchup for Abaddon is a little bit awkward, right? You do have that Withering Mist. You do have a way of reducing healing, but it's only when they're below 40% HP. Trying to drag the Omni Knight to that point is not going to be easy here for the side of Execration to capitalize on trying to soften up, and that is going to be a considerable issue. there's not much threat on Niero from just running in and getting that damage done. And as again, we're kind of seeing that down bot earlier. The top lane is going surprisingly well for Execration, all things considered. Tito has not been jumped. He's not really stopping that farm coming in here for Pure. But he isn't being dived on just yet. Has level 3, holding on to the skill point to see what he can get away with. And if you are allowed to just soak, you're pretty happy in that lane anyhow.
Speaking of lanes, the mid lane, Lewis gonna get jumped, but he's happy to fight back. Shanks is here as well. GPK can be in danger and he's gone. Lewis picks up a kill. Kataomi trying to get away, but Shanks right behind and secures the secondary. And I was just about to say for Execration, hold that thought, because Paolo will be chased, but the Frost Shield will keep him relatively safe as CML might be the one to fall. Piero diving all the way in, will be able to secure the kill. What I was about to say, if you're Execration, Lewis, he has to have a good game. Right? I did this draft revolves around him, and Pure's now going to go down. But if you've got a Storm that has a good laning stage, it could be a very hard game for BB team.
And it can be. I mean, you have some answers in hold. You've got the Shadow Shaman with a Hex at the very least, and the Chicken Fingers on hand as well for some follow-up. So you have some ways of keeping Lewis locked in. That death on mid is very costly for BB team. You get both Water Runes for Lewis. He's fully topped up. He's got his Soul Ring. He's got a lot of mana to play with. He's halfway into level 6. And again, we were talking about it. This is going to be almost like a mid showdown for Lewis and for GPK. Both of their teams are kind of reliant on these heroes to kind of get popping off. I will say, all of this movement across from Shanks being this effective is pretty scary. He's looking at mid again. There's still no sentry down here to watch his movement in. And so long as this bounty hunter is getting activity on the map, getting that faster hit gets scary.
We'll see him eventually, the sentry on the right side of the lane will allow GPK the chain gang off, but the impact here is ensuring this Storm has a good time, and of course Power Rune's going to be very important. Either of these mid laners, GPK doesn't really want to miss out, but I don't really feel like you have the supports right now that can make these rotations to secure the Power Runes. Comparatively, say the bounty is going to be a bit of a pain. See if they do make those rotations into the mid. Execration certainly is. Both supports around the area. BB team, not so much though. They might just be letting this one go.
A pretty big resource to hand over to Lewis again. And he's just fully topped up. He's already level 6.
Here they come. They're going to try. Will connect with Save and Kataomi. Trying to jump the ledge. Rebound's going to be nice up the two as well. Lewis trying to jump in and get some damage up. The team is already down to Shanks. In danger. Completely surrounded. Will go down. And of all things, Power Rune's up top anyway. But a very nice set of kills for BB team.
And it is. You still managed to get that rune out for Lewis, so I think overall you're still happy enough on Exa. It's just that you wasted all your mana on Lewis. You're not going to be able to get the biggest use out of the haste if you want to top up now. You're not going to be able to get that jump in. Very good commitment coming out from BB team, understanding that, again, their launching point has to be December. One good rebound here and there, and you suddenly find yourself pretty exposed on the side of Execration. They are still looking mid, though.
They're trying to beat GPK. They're trying to bait him into a fight. Shank's going to move in now towards the stump, but they'll get the gaze off. I think they kind of messed that initiation up. Kataomi, though, still dropping. Will go down to the blood grenade as Lewis jumping GPK. GPK has nowhere to go. Still level 5, will go down. It's Lewis hitting level 7 now on the Storm.
It's a big disparity now for GPK. Like, he's still stuck at 5, still about to hit 6, not too far off at least, with no creep wave around him. It caused issues. How hard Execration is playing around mid.
You are.
Starting to play up.
They hit the Gale. You're in a bit of danger. Shanks will keep position up, gets the stun, and rebound in onto Pure. This could work against them. They'll bring in more TP to try and help out. CML going to intervene. No, Shanks goes down. Pure, he survives all of it. Bring Lewis in eventually, but he was too low on mana to try and make the jump into the TN. Why he didn't have the backup. They'll continue now. CML beating another life away, and Lewis has to leave. They made the jump on a Pure. It looks like Lewis, he didn't have enough mana to actually commit to the fight.
Not quite enough mana. You also didn't have a free charge on the Urn yet on Tino, which is unfortunate. Maybe with that Urn tick damage, might have had enough to get that damage in to kill off Pure. And maybe a little bit hasty as well from Exa. Good punishment coming out again from BB team. And for the side of Execration, I mean, the one silver lining is that you are getting free space out for Palos, but it's still a slow lane here for our Abaddon. you're just not able to really match up against the Omni Knight too well, especially now that you have the mana sustain set from Miero with that full soul ring up. So he's not going to have an issue in just controlling the lane, looking for that aggression coming in, and kind of just zoning out Palos. At least Palos is at 6, has the value point ready, so hunt for more top.
Another bird for Kataomi. The thing is, with the start that Lewis has had, he can pretty much hunt anyone he wants right now. Maybe not Miero, in fairness, but certainly the support's not going to be feeling very good about their chances against Lewis at this current stage of the game, as Palos now being chased by Miero. Miero has literally no fear at the moment, as the Omni Knight, with a harassment onto Palos, walks away. It's the message being sent, you know, it's not a safe lane for Palos.
Certainly not. I think the one thing you do have here for Execration as well is their vision game has been pretty on point. Really nice aggressive wards up top in that jungle, keeping watch if anyone's walking up for the bounty rune or just farming in that general area. They've got level 6 up now as well on Shanks, so they are ready to really get that snowball going. You want to start to really find these track kills, keep that start rolling for yourself, get the initial build-up you'd want, getting some activity out on Tino as well, successful activity, can set up nicely here for that earlier timing on the Veno, maybe looking for the Orchid build-up, a lot more damage coming out when you can find that.
You are. Hunted again by Shanks, no sentries around, they'll dust him up, but they know that Shanks is around somewhere, but Lewis, he's going to jump in this time around onto the Pure. They're going to cut over instead, in fact, trying to get the easy kill with a Hex out. Lewis is down, Pure will secure the kill. Oh, and it's a horrible fight for Execration. EB team just bring practically everybody up to the top lane to ensure they pull off that team fight. Execration not going to be too happy with that.
Really nice sentry being set up by BB team as well earlier on, spotting that movement in, and maybe kind of baiting them with the dust usage as well. So they'll figure perhaps, you know, there's no sentry there, they'll try that move again, it's going to be punished, they're going to need to somehow get the D ward, or they can't rely on Shanks. They're looking elsewhere now though.
Miero, he's a hard target. They are going to give it a crack though, and Miero, he'll get the repel off for now, has the Guardian Angel, he needs it. Miero's still surviving, the TVs will come in, there's your Guardian Angel now committed, it's Kataomi with the rebound down. Lewis though not giving up, looking for the trap kill, and then run both of them. And that's something you can't forget. More track kills for Lewis, you've got to be careful about.
That more than compensates for that movement up top now as well. You get your Galvanized back up to 7, you get a lot of gold, you're getting that activity you're looking for on Shanks, and you are even bleeding some gold back to Palos because he's around for those track kills. So this Radiance timing, considering the slower lane, isn't going to feel as slow as it would be. For the side of BB team, they've been really good with punishment. They've been getting that form on. Pure still #1 in that word. It just feels like this activity from GPK has been a lot more subdued. Maybe they'll try to get something done now. Level 2 chains up with a maxed out shield. Could go for some easy kickoffs.
Well, they're going to find CML, that's certainly an easy one. GPK more than happy to secure that for himself, and in fairness to GPK, he did have a rough laning stage. He's just trying to get that blade mail off before he really gets too involved, but still trying at the very least to join his team when necessary. 8-11 now, very slight net worth lead the way of Execration. Well, obviously is starting to slowly get out of control here on this TA. Top of the net worth board by far. Palos nowhere near him at the moment. Chances are you're not really going to catch up until you have perhaps just the Radiance on this Abaddon.
Yeah, you're not expecting it to. You have to understand on the side of Execration that with that failed attempt on Pure, he is just going to snowball. Dragonlance already up, going for the first jump up.
Now going to jump into the bounty, but Lewis is back. Oh, very nice chain from GPK. We'll just remnant out. Miero picked up the shield rune anyway. They don't miss out on a power rune, but they will hand another kill over to Lewis. And these are the things, if you're BB team, you've got to be wary of these tracks. They start to add up, and suddenly Lewis back on the top of the net worth.
That he is. 8 Galvanized stacks to play with. Already has the full Kaya as well. So a lot more output here from our Storm. And for the side of BB team, that control is reliant on follow-through from, say, Save here. Like, that's your big bottom on Execration. It's your big punishment for Lewis that we've seen a couple of times now. If he does overextend. Again, the vision game coming out from Execration is just so clean. Look at the wards Shanks is dropping. Keep an eye on Pure. Farming still in that top area. They've got some good sentries as well, just to kind of block off, ensuring that if your bounty hunter will move, vision's still there. There are a couple of areas for BB team that can still spot out. The mid-roach is the big one, top side, and that can kind of cut off Shanks a bit. They've gotten some room now to just siege block with Palos.
Miero. Getting a little bit excited here. Might need to look to retreat a little bit. Though again, he does have his ulti ready. Palos will continue to chase. Kaname is there with the rebound out if he needs it. Doesn't really seem like there's a big chance of Miro dying unless Lewis can catch somebody else who'll move on to save. He gets X up immediately safe. Trying to run. See if he can move in with the chains out. Meanwhile, Palos still trying to just chase down the Shaman. But he might die for this if he's not too careful. He's dived very deep, Palos. Try to run back towards his side, and well, for now he's fine. Meanwhile, bottom CML has been caught. GPK finding a freebie. Looking at Palos now. Palos, he's in the middle of nowhere. Way too deep for the Shaman. Gets punished for it again.
Yeah, and they kind of split their targets there on Execration. Not really aiming for one or the other. It was a bit of a split choice out from Lewis and from Palos in terms of looking for that initiation. I know they were just trying to cut off the Shaman from getting control. It still kicks in anyhow without any kills coming in. It does feel like you'd really want to have Tino participating in here. A lot of their early damage and a lot of their threatening slows, threatening output is on this Venomancer. Would say the Nox just played a good Gale out, burn usage as well. And Tino is just kind of camping up top, getting that build up he'd want, but it is costing the team extra damage, extra output. The timing as well for Execration didn't quite pan out. They didn't have Chain Frost yet. They do have it now, and they could try for another successful fight if BB team are clumped up.
And they're coming. Mine perhaps saved. And jump in. That's pretty cool here on the save. The Kaname was trying to move in, but can't quite get there in range for the rebound in time. Take that kill for himself on the bounty. Big concern though, if you are Exile, I mean, Pure is still just complete free farm on this TA. Uncontested, having a great old time. If there's one man you can trust to carry the game for you, it's probably going to be Pure.
He's got that blink up. He's going to be able to get aggressive on that TA a little bit earlier. Desolator not too off the mark as well. 2K in, one Mithril Hammer already up at this point. And that's the key timing now for BB team. You know, you're already pretty tanky on Miara without really needing too much. Already one part into the Radiance as well. Once you get that Deso up on Pure, that's when you start to look for that pick off into Roshan. That's where the tempo starts to kick in. Having that secondary life plus Guardian Angel and Repel on hand on the TA makes this a pretty complicated game for the side of Exa. They are going to try to keep running this run and gun style that they've been doing so far.
Miero, followed by Shank. It'll be alright. It's got to take a long time to try and deal with that Omni Knight. And we'll see him again. Miero takes the Watcher, so now maybe they can hope for this because he's a bit out of position. Lewis will jump in. Speeds are not coming to save Miero. He is all on his own here. He'll pop the gun angel and the Krokus getting involved just in case. Turns out he was never really in danger anyway, John.
No. That's just far enough away as well.
Palos might be though. Palos, he's got borrowed time. He'll have to pop it. Try to find his way out of these serpent wards. He's going to jump back into Palos. He's not really moving. Kaname is going to die. Palos, he made the choice to farm the wards instead of going for the southern wards and trying to run. I mean, maybe he just assumed he was just dead anyway, but certainly Palos not having the game one you would have hoped for if you're Execration.
No, certainly not. Bottom network 4 right now is Palos. Still a ways off from the Radiance. Again, kind of the same build-up that you're seeing from Miero, just a little bit more coming out from Miero, considering that he also went back for a Soul Ring and Bracer as well. For Palos, I think you're actually somewhat happy about that. You got a track kill. You got another Galvanized stack coming out there for Lewis. He is the hero that matters the most at this moment, and this is accelerating his BKB. And you have to be weary of just giving an opportunity back, even on support kills with track. That snowball effect is somewhat kicking in. At least it's only the level 1 track, not quite yet. Level 2 here for Shank, still a ways off from that one. But now the timings are coming in for BB. And that Deso, Blink, Dragonlance is set to go. You can start to look for fights, you can start to hope to translate that into Roshan, maybe even the movement out onto some of these tier 1s. Tier 1 mid is the one that's kind of blocking the way right now on the side of BB team. And for Exa, you can't afford to rest, really. Like, with this Bounty Hunter and with the success we saw them run with on day 1, it's all about keeping that pressure up. They've been pretty good at it so far. You're going to need to keep it going. The moment you take a break to farm, you're just ceding ground to BB team, who has, again, done spectacularly here with Pure and the way he's just working through all of these camps.
We haven't really talked about Tino much, have we, John? Tino's been relatively quiet. He's third in net worth right now on the Venomancer. How's the assault, rather, excuse me, the Crimson Guard going into the Hurricane fight? There is a point where maybe the Venom starts to become a somewhat of an issue. Gets enough items up.
Yeah. He has been, again, not really joining these connections, which down bot did cost him. The other times, not quite so much. That additional damage would be beneficial for the side of Execration. He is going for that full aura build, as you mentioned. The Dragon Lance can be nice to just reapply Poison Sting. Have maybe a little bit of spacing for yourself with the stats until the full Hurricane Pike is up. I will say, we haven't really felt his presence yet. I don't want
Not reacting quick enough. He will die, and so will CML. EB team were waiting for it. They knew he was coming for the creep wave, and sadly, Lewis not reacting quick enough to zip back out of it.
And that's the kind of kill you can't afford to be giving here in Execration. Again, all your momentum has been on the Storm. You want that build-up. At the least, he did manage to buy out the mid-full hammer. So he's only having to wait for just the recipe now to get that full BKB, but this is the launching point for BB team. No Storm to worry about, no initiation to have to worry about. You can just kind of shove in. You got your first charge of Deso up, although.
Look at the rebound. We'll get there, but it's still going to die. Tino able to secure his Miero, just trying to TP away. Will be fine to do so. Execration still looking to chase. Not going to find the Shaman either. They do at least find Pure, who does get tracked before he gets through the twin gates, but they're not going to follow him through. They'll just take the freebie on a Kataomi and just leave it at that.
And you can see how much damage Tino does when he is in the area. He did 1,000 damage straight up to Kataomi by himself. And that's what you kind of need. You need to find a way to connect onto Tino. Again, he's wanting to get the Hurricane Pike first, so if he is committed on with a rebound, he will have some counterplay. It's just, man, you're missing a little bit more in this power spike here for Execration, whereas for BB team, it's just getting stronger and stronger. They haven't been able to threaten onto the Roshan just yet, so that is a little bit of a blessing in disguise. But their timings are lining up. You've got your own Radiance on Nero. He's got this BKB timing coming in as well into the Blink. BKB as well coming up next for GPK, having the full Kaya Sanja on top of things. It's a lot harder to burst down on that Ember. And now they make that move into the Roshan. Fairly obvious, the scan is there. The issue is, can Execration even run into that area at this point?
Roshan, very low. Execration not going to be able to get up there. Moving in. Roshan still dropping, almost down, but not down yet. Shank's going to move in, but can't get there. Pure, he's got the Aegis. CML already down. Lewis trying to go after the Shaman. Save. Okay for now with the Repel, and now the Shackle holding down Lewis and Pure from the low ground, getting some damage off, but not quite enough. Will chase down Lewis. Lewis needs a way out, but he's been perma-stunned up. He will go down. They'll finally maybe find Save, but he's still shackling, still surviving. They'll finally take him down. Without your Storm, can you really keep this fight going? Palos, he's trying to do so. Tino's doing so much damage over time. This Veno could be problematic, Joe. You can't just leave him alone the whole fight.
Oh, and again, this is the one thing that you were kind of lacking for Execration. Tino has not been able to connect too often to these fights. Would have used him a little bit earlier. They missed this opportunity as well to try to kind of get off their spells in the Roche pit, right? Like getting a big Chain Frost in that area maybe changes that smooth fight. They're not able to jump in. Lewis was a little bit too far to try to zip into the pit as well. So not the ideal circumstances for Exe. You're still very happy on the side of BB team, but you're also not getting that lead you'd want yet. Again, you've kind of front-loaded all of your gold onto Pure. Everyone else is relatively equal in that worth. Again, the biggest issue for Execration there is that they're just a little bit low on Lewis now. And if they make it into the Roche a little bit earlier, if you're not caught in the back with CML, a Chain Frost would have changed that fight, but they identify their targets very well in BB team.
Absolutely do. Not a fantastic fight, but again, it's just the long kind of team fight. A little bit scary if Tino doesn't get involved. And Save just surviving forever as well in that fight, I've got to say. Just so much pressure on trying to find this Shaman throughout these fights, just to ensure they can actually just not get disabled permanently is Save. Now the Shank's going to find Pure now. Dip in? Are they going to try for this? Pure has a 3-minute timer on the Aegis still, so he's looking pretty safe. Maybe they feel like he's alone. Well, a little blink away. Kataomi right behind him just in case they need it. BB team now setting up for a fight. They know Execration. They were hanging around to Pure. He's going to jump in, trying to snipe CML. The CML does make
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Chains
attack.
out onto Tino. They'd love the Venom first. The great target if they can get him. Tino in pretty big trouble. He'll survive for now. He'll get the ulti off the diamond. Just Hurricane Pike. He'll raise down the chain box. That could be a little bit scary. BBT, they get through it. They can pronounce Palos. Palos is danger again. Palos, he's still going. He's still alive. As Lord's going to zip right through forward. Where's the damage? Miro, he does go down. But Army will follow. Pure though trying to salvage. He'll take down Shanks, but he can't. We can do it, Lewis. Lewis will lead. 2-for-3 trade in the favor of Execration so far as Pure. He still has the Aegis. Still happy to continue. But Execration think they've won the fight. Would love to just retreat now safely. They'll do so.
Again, it's a little bit dicey out for Execration. They did manage to get really good usage out from the Chain Frost, and it makes all the difference. It makes it so awkward for GPK to just try to hold that position with Pure at the start. They get a really timely retreat as well on Lewis. Like, he makes that choice to kind of back into that top jungle further up and allow the rest of BB team to collapse onto Palos first to look for the angle back in. Very smart in and outs coming in here from Execration and from BB team, but you are seeing some issues. Like, the damage is certainly lacking. For the most part in that fight, Palos really wasn't doing much except getting held up, popping spells, trying to buy that opportunity for Lewis. And at this point, yeah, Lewis's damage output is good. It doesn't feel like he can really carry through if these fights drag any longer than they currently are. There's only so much weaving you can do here on the side of Execration. We'll have to see if they can maybe catch a little bit more.
It'll be a nice target. Landers starting initially. Ace is there. Lewis supporting to follow up, and it looks like they've got him. GPK will be dropping once again. This is the big thing right now. Like, Palos, he doesn't really feel like a carry, but Tino and Lewis, they're proving to be pretty big problems. It's almost like Palos is just playing off-plane right now.
That he is basically. Lewis is pretty much carrying here. I will have to give a shout out to Shanks as well. Getting his shard up, they did manage to actually get that initial setup from just double Shadow Walk breakage. And they layered it perfectly as well. Like, Execration are just moving as a unit very cleanly outside of, you know, a couple of maybe 2 aggressive movements across the map. And now they found themselves an opportunity for a tier 2. BB team kind of hugging that bot jungle themselves, shoving in the bot area to kind of trade away. They still have that Aegis for a little bit more time, not too long now, a little bit of a reset out to Pure.
Radiant's
And
bottom
Exa
tower
is managing to
under
find a way
attack.
to constantly weave
Radiant's
in and out. With the
structures
BKB
are
up on Lewis, it's going to get a lot easier. Down to 8 seconds now, but still enough of a window to get things going. A BKB coming for Tino next, and a Blink coming out for Palos can start to at least put the Abaddon in
Radiant's bottom
interesting
tower
spots,
is under
especially
attack.
while borrowed time is running.
Dire's top
So
tower is under
maybe better
attack.
positioning out, you know, easier saves coming in with a Photic Shield if Palos isn't jumped first. And it's going to be about a back and forth in those saves, right? Like, you're playing into
Dire's
Omni
middle
Knight, you're
tower
playing
is
into
under attack.
just the factor of Repel, Guardian Angel
Radiant's
on
bottom
hand.
tower is under
At the
attack.
same time, you've got this Abaddon with a Photic Shield that can be murderous if he does manage to get some big saves off, especially onto someone key like Lewis.
Do they want to try for the arrows? They're going to try, but the whole side of BB team's there. They're ready. Hero is dropping low, but he will be safe for now. The Cloud Army is lost. He needs to duck out of there. He'll do so. They'll try for Tino instead. Palos, he'll be the man left behind as it looks like Execration. They need to reset. They need to escape. Do they really leave Palos behind? Well, in fact, they don't. He just walks out of it. So they only lose CML. BB team, they lose nothing. They'll be very happy with that. I think for Exa, like, sure, you get close with taking down Miro, but he's the hardest target to deal with.
That he is, and you did have to expend the Chain Frost as well. Not the luckiest bounces in the world this time around for CML, unfortunately, not staying onto the heroes. They were split apart enough on the side of BB team to not get caught off guard. It's still a very even game across the board off of that, 18-21. Slight network advantage still hanging in there for Execration. It is just worrying how much Pure is getting away with. Again, still an 8-second BKB to play with, constantly shoving in down quad. We'll find that tier 2 tower now. No contest
Radiant's bottom
for the side of Exa. There is still a lack of damage. Like, Palos still has no solution. He would be a very good nullifier carrier if you can kind of find room for that. It's just, he still has to work into the blink as well. It's going to take so much time to remove these saves from the side of BB team. And for the side of Exa, I mean, And the pacing, you're still keeping up that aggression, to be fair. You're still trying to play around all these tracks, trying to play around with the friendly shadow and the shadow walk and hunting heroes down. It's just that BB team have been playing in very distant parts of the map now, mainly hugging bot. They've got a good ward line, a couple of sentries, a couple of wards here to watch if Shanks and company are kind of sneaking around. They have avoided that top area where Execration has set up most of their vision at. So if you can't find these heroes, you can't get track kills. If you can't get track kills, you can't keep that snowball going.
Setting up again, it looks like. DPK gonna hang by the tier 2 tower. Execration just not relenting on the pressure. Tina just keeping the wards here to ensure the lane's forced in, and they're just trying to force an error from BB team at the moment. One way to do it, just keep the lanes forced in and force them to get into some awkward positions to try and defend. Will reveal his position. E2 tower. Tina will take care of it on his own for now. BB's incoming. He's going to get started with the Melon pressure. They're pretty safe on the Venom as Pure. Going to be a little bit cautious. He's riding. Zip out. Trying for the Shaman. Can he get him? Save is still alive. He will not die. Carlos is gone. Now they can go. BB team. They'll find CMO on a bit. In fact, they even found Tino. Lewis has left the building. It's a 4-for-0 trade. This Omni Knight it's making life so hard. Like the repel comes in every time. Save just survives over and over again.
It's too much.
Oh, they'll get him this time. Lewis will eventually get him, but it's a 1-for-4.
It is. Again, this is the big difference for Execration and BB team. For Execration, it feels like Palos has to take that front line. Right? Like he's having to move forward. He can't just stand back, try to use the blink to get a photic shield onto someone. He's trying to leverage that radiance. He's trying to leverage his durability as a core. But it pales in comparison to how safe Miero can play. He's just standing back. He's always got repel. He's always got Guardian Angel. He doesn't need to be in the firing line. They know Execration has to run into them. And as long as you have that safe positioning from Miero, I mean, what will you do? You know, you can't reach the Omni. If you try to reach him with Lewis alone, it puts him in the firing line in a very dangerous spot. So it's just that difference. You can afford to play safe on Miero. You can't afford to do so on Palos just because he is their pos 1. You don't want your pos 1 hugging too far behind when it's an Abaddon. You kind of need to be aggressive on him, and it just removes that threat of saving with a photic shield.
I mean, it does. Makes it very hard as well, because Save, he just has that Ghost Scepter, goes into the ethereal form every single time. They try to jump him, and just so many ways to keep this Shaman alive. In the middle of a fight, Save, he's been very good for his squad. Dancing both teams smoked up. Shanks, he'll break the smoke. It does get caught out immediately. The off the frost shield, but it won't matter. Pure is hitting way too hard now. Rocha is available for either side, but also BB team at the moment. They want a little bit more though, by the looks. Lewis is just as well trying to pick up the Shaman as the Permanent Chain Frost's down. You're really lacking quite a bit of damage here. Dave gonna walk out again. He won't die. CML will, however. Shanks not looking safe either. He brought back into this. He really doesn't want to die back immediately, but they found him. Pure godlike now. And another disastrous fight for Execration.
You have to appreciate how fast BB team can just get on top of a hero. They've got that mobility. They've got so much going on for them. This pick-me-up facet just providing a lot of angles out for Kataomi to get these heroes right on top of these soft targets they want. And your output again on Execration is just lacking. It's still all in on Lewis, who's caught out here.
Oh, Lewis getting caught as well. Save will secure the kill. He really has been the bane of their existence, Save. On this Shaman, it's just been in. I mean, how many times has he survived the team?
Way too many times. Way too many times. That foul play is just doing a ton of work. Like you mentioned, the Ghost Scepter as well, stalling out that burst window, trying to play with on Exe. And the ball's completely out of their court now. 19 to 30, 11k lead for the side of BB team. Shaman not going to take too long here for Pure to clear out. And you don't have options on Exe. And again, it kind of comes back to how this draft is laid out. Right? Like, you need to be the front liner in Palos because Tino is a tanky Venomancer, relatively tanky for a Venomancer, but not going to be tanky enough. He needs to be the one standing back. So Palos has to be running forward. No saves for him. and he's not able to save anyone else as well if that key control comes in. And your damage as well is just somewhat lacking. At this point, Lewis is just not gonna cut it by himself. In fact, Lewis is the one trying to go for the full nullifier for the team. We're looking at a basher pickup for Palos instead, which can be useful. It's just, you can see how much pressure there is on the Storm to clean things up. Like remove the Ghost Scepter, remove Repel, remove Guardian Angel himself. He has to do all the work on Lewis.
I mean, that he has to. Palos, I appreciate he has just been the tank for the team at this stage, but it really is starting to feel like you're lacking a carry in this game for Execration. There's only so much Lewis can do on his own. BB team, they'll go through the top lane now. T1 tower is still standing, so they'll quickly deal with that.
Radiant's top tower is
Shanks
under
in a
attack.
position.
Radiant's
They
top
want to
tower
try and
is
defend
falling.
and force some fights, but not really advise it right now. It does start to feel like you're
Radiant's top tower
going to
is
be in that
under
high
attack.
ground situation pretty soon as Execration with the way this game's been
Dire's
going.
middle tower is
The
under
B team, I
attack.
think, know it very well too, John.
Yeah. And they've got the
Radiant's
clear
top tower
advantage.
has fallen.
The fight here for Execration is just so hard to find. Like, how are you supposed to initiate? You don't have that much team fight control. You know, you're banking on Lewis to jump in. Maybe a good Shadow Walk and friendly Shadow Stun as well coming out of the Aegis. Just difficult to execute on.
They'll try Tino. Gonna be okay. Pure though. Two-shotting CML. Main gang out as well onto the Venoman. So they're using the travel side lanes.
Is under attack.
Not gonna be enough. Pure not getting lucky with the crit.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Enough to
attack.
hold them back at the very least in Execration again. I don't see the angle for these fights. Lewis has to kind of go all in somehow.
They're gonna zip in. Vortex, the BKB was used by Pure, so he'll be okay. Naomi jumping in, runs right back up. Without the BKB, you could maybe hope for something, but he's still got the Aegis up, so it makes it rather difficult anyway. Pure will get gazed up, Lewis will jump in, but Pride throws him down to the repellent there. It's the chain cross now, but it's doing no damage. They'll find up the Shaman. There's that Ghost Sector. Maybe they can do it safe. Let's see if they can keep it going. Naomi will also go down. This might be the fight. Lewis, he's onto the Omni Knight. Nero will be okay though. Not really the biggest fight in the world for Exa, but they do find a support duo for their trouble.
Over here now.
They have lost the melee barracks.
I mean, it could have gone worse for Exa. They hang on to the range. They're not losing as much as you'd expect. The Aegis is still up for BB team. They could still look to go back up. I mean, there's still a good amount of time, 2 minutes 10 on that Aegis still. You have an opportunity to just come back in. The one thing for BB team is that you are feeding out track kills. Your lead is high enough that it's a 2.7k swing for Execration. Helps fix a couple of issues. Unfortunate for Palos that he doesn't get a first hit bash trying to chase down Miero with that full basher up, but hey, can't have all. And for Exe, that has to be the key. You kind of have to weave in and out on Lewis. You kind of have to hug that BKB usage, hold back as long as you can, bait them in from BB team, have them overextend, and try to chase down afterwards. It's not a very direct way of coming in, but that's the best way they have, just kind of putting BB team in disarray. If they don't manage to find that initiation, they'd want themselves here as well.
Another minute 20 on the Aegis here. BB team looking to see if they can find another fight. Does expire. You are already on the hunt. CML very scared now, knowing it's just 2 shots away from dying. Maybe even 1 shot at this point, let's be fair.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
To mid tower. Delayed a little bit with that frost shield, but it won't do too much. It's just you want to try high ground again for BB team.
Radiant's middle
Minute
tower
left on the
is
Aegis.
fallen.
I guess there is time for at least a T3 tower.
It doesn't feel like they have too much to worry about. You've got Swift Blink plus Daedalus up on Pure. He has so much output. Still has his BKB to a healthy amount. Oh, it's 6 seconds, but 6 seconds is
middle
enough.
tower is
The
under
windows you're
attack.
looking for on Execration is just so narrow. They can just kind of split their attention. Wards down bot, TA shoving in mid. Gotta find some way to correct.
They do. Comes to the chains though, always very awkward to start the fight as Tino. He's about half his HP here to Pure. Gonna zip in, will try for the TA, still 15 seconds on the Aegis, they're just setting up the GPP a little bit far. They need to jump in and help GPK out. The repeal is there, it will keep the Ember alive. GPK will have another release on life. However, they need to dissipate, they'll find the melee barracks, but can they get out safely? Pure, he has no Aegis. Maybe this is the opening for Lord, but he's out of mana now. Palos will keep the chase up. Meanwhile, Tino buyback immediately. BB team, are you sure you've had a nice couple kills, but they've got the buybacks. They're ready to come back.
I love that from Pure. I love that from GPK, just having that Remnant on top, getting instantly back into the fight, cleaning up, forcing a buyback out now from Tino as well. You do have a buyback in Lewis, but you need that entire complement up here to defend. You need Palos' body. You need a lot of that control coming out, that damage coming out from Lewis. The pieces just aren't there. At the least without the TA, this threat from BB team isn't as high, but they will still keep on it. They know there's just not going to be enough, even with the respawns coming in.
Trying, Miero. A bit of HP, Kataomi, they're just jumping right in, happy to go right after Tino. The Kataomi should probably just be dying. He'll try for a TP up, but won't make it. Miero, meanwhile, still in danger, but these trap silences being very annoying for Lewis. The bench, they will find Miero. Not out of the game yet.
No.
They are trying.
There they are. And again, BB team a little bit hasty without the TA, without Pure around to siege onto the next set of racks. Execration still hanging on. They do have that output. And the damage coming in now from Lewis is high. Even Palos, not in the last fight, but this Abaddon's on top of you with the threat of the Basher now. Things can get a little bit spicy. And again, for Execration, they did a fantastic job of just weaving in and out. It's Lewis always kind of just dodging out the rebounds, looking for the backline, a little bit of an overextension out from GPK, putting them in a little bit of that mess. As, you know, he is fairly low HP. They need the Ember for the poke. They need the chain gang action going. He's a little bit less confident with all of that expenditure onto him. And then you get that follow through. You get that deep chase. You get that output from Palos now. The Abaddon's not to be not underestimated.
Fuel's been jumped. Fuel's been jumped. Can they kill it? Oh, he's gone. He's gone buyback though. The Execration, they're feeling it. They feel the opening. Palos, he'll keep going on the save. The Shaman will go down now. Well, hold on a minute. BB team, let's calm down. Ria, get it together. What's happened, John?
They're going a little bit scattered around. Again, that's where Execration shines. You've got the Storm who can just dive bomb you with no concern as long as you're kind of separated away from the Shadow Shaman and the Omni Knight. So the moment you split apart, the moment there's an opportunity for Execration, of course they can get from the top. They've got Friendly Shadow, Shadow Walk, plus all of this movement across the map with Lewis. They are trying to stall out. You have to remember, GPK did buy back in the early fight. If he puts himself in danger here, you're going to be one hero short even with the buyback on Pure. It's time for a little bit of caution out from BB team. At least wait for the respawn to be here.
And this all goes back to that mid-rack trying to be taken without Pure. A little bit hasty thinking we can do it without him, but turns out they couldn't, and suddenly Execration now looking like they're in a dominant position. Palos has actually become a bit of a problem at this stage too. Here we go.
He's got the full pistol to go through that debuff immunity. He's got himself an Outworld staff, buying him a little, some key time. The baits up itself. It is so good. Such a good item. I can't believe people thought it would be bad. It came out
bad.
A lot of people on Reddit thought it was a little bit lame.
It's like,
no, you underestimate what 0.7 seconds does. It's just massive. And again, some of that damage is starting to come into being here for the side of Execration. Full Scotty up for Tino. It starts to get a little bit painful with all the slows and damage you get with a septic shock here on the Venomancer. Nothing like an Ags up. It's not all about damage, but the utility certainly is starting to really take place here.
I mean, you're basically in an even game. If you ignore the objectives, Miero. Do we have Dota? What's Dota Plus saying? Do we have some win probabilities here, perhaps? 57% for BB team now. Well, that's not a good position to be in, considering where they were just a minute ago.
Certainly not. And again, we're seeing from Execration, they can find these angles for the fight. Even if it's just extremely awkward, you have to bait BB team out. They are biting the bait every now and again. A little bit of a smoke out from BB team as well as from Exa. See if they can start to posture. Roshan is that flashpoint. Whoever takes this cleans up the high ground.
BB team, be careful, gentlemen. Don't want to throw a game like this. Execration, they've got a high ground advantage here. If BB team do try to move their way up, but they're trying to go towards that. No, never mind. They're looping back around towards the east into the Radiant jungle, but Tino's going to be there along with CML and the rest. They'll see Palos very soon. They want to keep the Venom threat off the back. They'll jump in on the lift. The game. Meanwhile, Lewis for a second. We'll zip out of there. Who are they targeting? It's CML down first. Meanwhile, Palos, he's on a save. Pure's dropping real low. Somebody save him. Pure is down. Palos, meanwhile, still trying. He'll go on to Kanaomi as Pure's going to buy back along with save. They're just going to commit all the way for this fight, but the fight's looking pretty over. GPK, he needs some help. Miero will move back in. Tino with the Scully being such a nuisance. Execration.
They're doing it.
BB team, they're trying for Roche. This is why they pulled back. They can't let this go down.
Oh, it's so risky though.
Oh, BB team. This is scary.
It's so risky.
The
Look,
world's on your shoulders, Pure.
your BKBs are on cooldown. There's an opportunity here.
Tino's going to scout it out. This is just very frightening for BB team now. They were so far ahead, but Execration just enduring the suffering, Jonathan.
That they are. Again, it's this target prioritization. It's the way they're weaving in and out of these fights with the Storm. But Lewis is doing a fantastic job here.
Every time I see the Parasma,
Yeah, it gets
Every
dangerous.
time.
It gets dangerous. You've got the nullifier now as well. You're dealing with all these saves coming out from the side of BB team. At the least, they haven't course corrected top, slowly being shoved in. Someone's going to have to repair for those tier 4s. You should have a window here for BB.
don't say repair, John. You bring me back to the repair kit, David.
Those are fun.
You give me PTSD when you say repair.
We're very, very funny. At least you don't. I mean, you could count in like the Lich 25, I suppose, if you want to get into that.
That's true.
For CML, if the game drags on long enough, you would have that.
Chain frost damage is actually quite nice too.
Yeah, 100 incremental is pretty big. 50 HP regen on your ancients
you're right.
and your towers.
You're right.
I don't know, actually. I take the chain
I
frost.
think you might actually just be right on that, honestly.
It depends. I think in this kind of game state, you're still fine because it feels like you could go with the extra damage. The issue is you're going into BKBs, you're going into repel. That damage is mitigated to a fair degree. It's not going to be bursty anyway. Might be better off. I mean, look, additional regen on Lewis, additional regen on Palos. It's going to be massive. That could be, you know, the way to go.
I'm looking at Lewis and I'm thinking, where's the axe build up at this stage?
That's the only thing lacking. That wide AoE control. He had to go for all of this counter control and damage because he has been carrying.
Oh, BB team, they're hanging around Roshan Pit again. Keep in mind, there's not many buybacks here for BB team. In fact, there's no buybacks on the map. Never mind, nobody's got it. DPK, he'll jump in, trying to find CML. Won't be able to get there as Tino trying to start a fight. They will rebound GPK out. Lewis, he'll jump right in. He's still safe. He'll force the BKB, now jumping onto Miera. Meanwhile, Palos trying to deal with the Shaman, but save. He's going to be able to save himself more out of it. Miera trying to chase down Shanks in the meantime. Here comes Save again. They'll find Shanks to start. Here comes Pure. Palos, he's been shackled up. He'll get the borrowed time off. Meanwhile, CML is just still being chased by GPK. He'll finally go down. Kanaomi, he'll follow. Pure, still fighting. Palos, Lewis, he's out of mana now. This fight's over, and this game might be over. Execration, in the end, it seems as though they cannot do it as BB team pull off the team fight victory they needed. Go for Roshan. There are no buybacks right now for Execration. Lewis will have one in 5 seconds.
A very fragmented fight out from Exit. Again, like, we were fighting one front by the ramp, a deep dive from Lewis, the connections aren't clean. This time it was Execration that was just kind of fragmented. BB team capitalize on it. They force the buyback out now from Tino. There will be at least be the buyback from Lewis, like you mentioned here. But this is a scary moment now for the side of Exit. 2 lives on Pure, a cheese on hand as well. That can be force-fed out. Only the one set of racks left standing here for the side of Execration. It's do or die. They've got to find some magic again that we've seen a couple of times. But in this circumstance now, it's looking a lot less clear to find that opportunity here.
I mean, you've got your support you up in 20 seconds. But the thing is, you're going to be lacking Palos for another minute. It's a long time not have your Abbott on. The BB team, they know it. Mega creeps up. They're going into the tier 4 towers now. One last ditch attempt to save this game for Exa. They need some more heroes. They've now got 3. Lewis can buy back whenever. Preferably they'd like to fight with Palos if they can, but I don't know if they have the time.
tower
There's
is
Vine now on Pure as well. He's just going to go straight for the Ancient. It seems like with the Divine Rage pick up a Lewis. He's going to find back. GPK holding them in the fountain. He's going to be able to get out of Shanks now, moving forward. Here comes Lewis, trying to dump the arrow. Nero is now Pure. He's going to lose the Aegis. Keep in mind, he has a Divine Rage via Pure. You don't want to lose like this. John is going to get Pure. He's completely surrounded, but the Ancient is gone. The Ancient is gone. They make it happen.
Oh, man.
Oh. Well, that was a bit too close for comfort if you ask me, John.
Very close for comfort for the side of BB